Please hold for podcast activation. Please
Podcast
hold.
activated.
Podcast. Resumed. Podcast. Podcast. Hi, we're doing a podcast. It's Ryan and Rizzo.
Podcast resumed.
Podcast resumed. Making things
Episode
are plain.
4.
3.
What? You're right, it is 3. I'm looking at it, and I can read, and it says show 3, 7, 19.
The first one was Zero.
I know.
Test
Never
launch.
Never
So, you know.
mind. One of these weeks, because I messed it up last week too, one of these weeks I'm going to get it right.
That's okay.
Not today, folks, but there's always another day.
Not today, but eventually. That's okay.
Hey.
You don't need to have exact numbers. It's on the download sheet anyway.
We back,
Yeah.
regardless.
Let's see what happened this week. Stuff.
All the things.
Things. Went to work.
A lot of stuff.
Stuff.
Did you celebrate National Friday, Monday, Friday?
I did on Tuesday because I forgot to eat
You
fries on Monday. I know. I was like, no, I'm gonna wait a few days to have fries, but they were delicious fries.
Oh, that's good. What did you? Where'd you go? Place that sells fries.
A place that had fries. I think it was Brahms. And then last
oh
night,
my gosh, the crinkle cut, they're so good.
crinkle cut. Then last night, I made some chicken fajitas, but instead of having tortilla, I had waffle fries as my base. So I had loaded chicken fajita fries.
That sounds amazing.
It was tasty.
The little one. Who we're
Shortstop?
still debating.
Short round. Short round.
Shortstop.
Should be short round.
Round.
I misspoke.
Something. Anyways, that's okay. One of those two. Shortstop. She's short. It's fine. Short. Although kind of not really. She celebrated on Monday with my Rizzo. I did not because I'm a fuddy-duddy, but that's okay.
Shame.
She enjoyed French fries out of a let's just say it was a small box that was red with a very prominent yellow letter of the alphabet. That's about right in the center of the alphabet.
You went to Mario's.
So, yes, we did. We actually have a Mario's here. It's a pizza place. It's really good. When you come back, we'll go. It's very good.
Very nice. How? I think you showed me a picture of the fries. Did you still a fry, or did you just take a picture of the fries?
No, I mean, it's clear I like carbs, but I'm very specific about my carb consumption, that kind of stuff wise, and that's not my favorite. Everybody loves them, and I just would rather get them somewhere else.
You're gonna limit it. I just realized I didn't start the video, so the first part of the video is just gonna be running nothing but the black audio.
You can just put over some sort of
I'll do something.
Yeah,
maybe I'll do the animated version of it because no need to stop now since we've been going. But I was like, wait, I forgot to push a button there. What button did I forget to push? Oh, that one.
Oh my gosh, what is my? Hey, there's co-host number 2.
Yes.
In a place she's most assuredly not supposed to be, but she knows that Mom's not gonna do anything about it right now. So we talked about Daisy before. That's Kit Kat. She's the.
It's on camera. They'll see if you beat me.
Yeah, she turned towards you and is looking at you now. She's giving you the stare over my shoulder. I love it.
I will destroy all of humankind. If you would hit recording, this would look better, but it doesn't.
Yeah, she's like, oh, video's up now? Cool, you press record here. Here I am. I'm sitting on a thing I'm not supposed to sit on.
Oh, it's not up yet because I can't get the.
Oh, no.
We have been doing theater of the mind.
Oh, maybe do I have a chance to go knock her off then, or no?
If you want to knock her off, because as right as...
Is the video on?
See, that's the fun thing. I'm not quite sure.
This may be an audio-only
Quick
podcast,
time
folks.
Is being a schmuck is what it's being.
Sam, we could have just done the video. That's okay. No problem.
See, go ahead and knock it off, and I'll try to capture you mid knock.
I would rather you not, honestly.
So when I have to address a cat that's doing something that doesn't need to be done, I go. Tss. Do you not have it?
Hold on.
No. Tss. Yeah, it's like the
like,
sound of a water bottle. Tss. Yeah, give her a good tss and see if she does anything. No, you can't laugh after it. You have to show her that you mean it.
She just... This is literally how my life is with that cat. I love her. She's super smart and like such a snuggle bug, but she is a, words I can't say because it's not nice.
Lovable fur beast of demonic stature.
So you said that you celebrated Friday on the 14th, right?
Friday on... Oh, that Friday.
National Friday. Yes.
What part are you talking about again, yo?
Yikes, this is rough. I'm also wondering because that day was also National Nude Day. Did you celebrate?
Sometimes those days just go hand in hand. I mean, all right, now the video's recording because I found the right button.
Cool.
See, you could have knocked the cat off the whole time. But
now she's giving herself a bath. We might get the money shot here in a second, folks. No, just in time for video.
But for National French Friday on Monday, which apparently was a nude day, you said as well?
No, Tuesday. Tuesday the 14th was a nude day, and you said you celebrated National Friday on that next day. So.
Okay, so yeah, just they kind of go hand in hand, Just gotta enjoy your fries. It's been hot here, so just let the world breathe.
Whatever makes you feel good, right?
I think we all naturally celebrate National Nude Day in some form or fashion 365 days a year. Unless you're Tobias Fuke.
I don't know. So. And then after that was National Tapioca Pudding Day.
Okay. What day was that on? Was that Wednesday?
That was Wednesday.
So there's there's like 5 things per day, isn't there, as far as nationals?
There were some really weird ones this week.
Yeah. I want to know who's making this up.
I don't know. I mean, they could be, but I'm like, hey, it's on the internet, so it has to be accurate. Fun.
It's probably the cat. It's probably the cat.
Yeah. It made me think back to the time when I asked for the tapioca pudding for my birthday.
Aww.
Brought back my 5-year-old sensibilities.
Have some more tapioca.
I basically act
Mama Rizzo, can I get the tapioca now?
You sound like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No, I don't.
A Meatwad. I was like, what's his name? Yeah, Meatwad. That's it. It's been a long time since I watched that. So
it happens.
Yay brain. And then the 17th we talked about already. That was Tattoo Day.
Nice.
So
and you have tattoo, right?
I have.
You have the ink. Is that what the kids call it these days?
Tatted up, yo.
Keep hitting the other mic.
Do you would you like to guess how many I have?
7.
Close. That number is too low.
You have 5?
No, 7 was too low.
You have
number
9.
Higher.
You have 9 tattoos. So 7 was too low, but it was 10. Wouldn't 7 be 3 low?
Wait, then you said I said it was too low, TOO, not TWO.
I thought you were giving a subtle hint. I was like,
and then you still said a 5, which is lower than 7.
Yeah, that's why I sucked at math to begin with. Could figure out the formula, but just bad math, bad basics,
Folks,
yo.
I have 10 tattoos. There you go. All within the span of the last 3 years.
Each tattoo is a different type of Horcrux.
You don't know. There might be. I am extra. I don't know. I don't know if I'm Voldemort level evil, but
Slytherin.
I have my moments.
Yeah,
but how would you? So, how exactly would you get rid of me if you had to like?
If your Horcruxes were your tattoos?
Yeah, if they were ink.
Lasers.
Serious, honest.
Lasers. That'd be the only way, really.
I'm positive that.
Depending on how evil you were, Bordella of Blood. What was it? Tales from the Crypt. Bordella from Blood. Dennis Miller when he was the opposite of what he is today. They used sunlight for the vampires that we reflected off of a cross. So maybe that, depending on how evil you were.
You can see how I don't get sunshine. So
there we go. So basically something.
And the blinds are closed.
I'll get Val Kilmer over here. We can get his real genius skills down, and we can do some.
Can you get him like? Can we get like Top Gun version Val Kilmer and not like present day.
Any
Val Kilmer's
version
your
of
best
Val
man.
Kilmer is fantastic.
Nah, I
He's an
take
artist.
1986 Val Kilmer.
You're
Thanks.
rude. You're rude.
I know.
He's a national treasure.
Hey man, if I'm gonna go out, I may as well go out right. So it's fine. So you said you're debating a tattoo yourself.
I have been for the past few years. Basically, the logo that you see, I think it's on the video, will be down here. The chameleon on the microphone.
Just looking.
Yeah, just let everyone look down here.
Oh, there she goes. Thank you. You said down and the cat left. Good job.
See, if you learned how to go, you could have done it. That's how I addressed the cats in the house.
I did. She looked at me like I was crazy.
The missus can't do that, but I can do that. It's weird.
It's the male, the alpha male thing.
Possibly. I am the alpha. But yeah, the chameleon microphone. Chameleon microphone, that's kind of been the thought that I might get eventually. But I don't know. I like the idea of a tree tattoo because I dig trees.
Where?
That I can't tell you. It depends on what I would get. I like the placement right here. I think that'd be good for something. But if it's a tree, probably go for arm-ish.
You said you dig trees. What kind of shovel do you use?
Well, usually a spade is what I go for. A brass spade.
So tiny trees. Gotcha.
Yeah, tiny trees.
Okay.
I look with tiny, happy trees.
There's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Tiny, happy trees. So that's what So you have 10. Where are they? Are they dispersed across? You have less.
I can't tell you
because I'm taller than you, so you have less. You have less skin than me, so.
That has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Where on the skin did you put the tattoo?
Yeah. Okay, Buffalo Bill.
Did you put lotion on it?
You have to, yeah. Actually, after you clean it for the first 3 days or so, then you have to put the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the infection again. Yeah. No, they're all, but above knee and below waist, basically. So like my hips, basically, is where they all are. Because I've got my right side is dedicated to my family, and my left side is dedicated to
Tony, Joni. Baba Kadu.
Just a random words and stuff. Yeah, it's the Italian in me coming through. It's my family.
The Rizzo Italian crest. They have a Scottish accent, but that's how Italian they are.
No, those Italian Scots. It's good. Yeah. No, and
was it the pizza? Okay.
No, my first tattoo, because when you're talking about thinking, a tattoo is permanent. Yes, obviously.
Yes.
What would I want on my body that would be permanent, right? So, do you want to guess what my first tattoo was in reference to?
Fleetwood Mac.
That's a good thought. No, I do have a Lindsey Buckingham on my, not him, but on my left side. No, for
his face,
shortstop,
his fingers. What part of Lindsey Buckingham?
No.
I mean,
it's paying homage to him, not actually.
So multiple parts
or something. That's a topic for another show. No, it's
this is my Cronenberg Lindsey Buckingham tattoo.
No, it's for shortstop. Shortstop.
Yeah. Okay.
It's her first initial, or
S.
the initial of her first name. Yes, a big S.
S.
And it has her birthday on it.
It's a symbol of hope. Okay.
Yeah.
Rock on.
So from there was kind of one of those where I got sort of nervous.
So that you can show her when, I do know when you were born.
Yeah, I'll be just look down.
Etc.
Oh,
etc.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll never have an excuse to not know when she was born. End of August.
Now you're committed.
Anyways.
Now you're committed.
But anyways, no. No, she saw it and she thought it was really cool. But when I had the experience, so the first time I went was in Las Vegas with my sister-in-law and one of our good friends.
Okay.
And it was always one of those things where I wanted to feel the sensation, I guess, just to understand like what, because some people are like, oh, it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced, and some people are like, it doesn't feel bad.
And this
or
is
whatever.
the inking procedure, right? Okay.
Yeah, and so I told myself, because it worked out to where we went to this one place, and they happened to have an appointment open with one of their artists, and they actually were featured on Ink Master, so I felt pretty good that it was probably a legit place. Yeah. And so my tattoo artist, his name is Chad, but anyways, and so I told myself, okay, if I end up having just like a tattoo ink dot on my body, that's fine, because at least I tried. If it was too painful or whatever it was. And so of course I was really nervous and kind of psyching myself out, but then I did it, and I was like, oh, well, that doesn't really feel like anything. And he's like, yeah, I already did the outline for the letter. And I was like, oh, okay.
So when you felt it, you did, what did it feel like? What did it feel like? And this is a hip placement?
Yeah.
And I hear that's one of the least tender spots.
Yeah, upper hip, right side, basically, was my first tattoo.
Okay.
But it was kind of like, and you can understand this because you have cats, but like just pretend you have like a sunburn or a skin irritation, and your cat just comes up and like scratches it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But and it's not like a lot. It was just like, just drawing on, and then done.
Gotcha.
Basically. I think the first one took like 35 or 40 minutes, but that was easy.
All right. Well, rock on.
Yep.
And so you've got 10.
Yep.
Over how many years have you been getting tattoos?
3.
So 10 in 3 years.
It's an addiction for sure. Because I remember thinking after I got that tattoo, I was actually going on a work trip because I was in Vegas, and then I had a work trip in Pittsburgh like the next day. So I just flew from Vegas to Pittsburgh, and I found a place in Pittsburgh to go get my next one, but it didn't work out. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Next time you see me, I'll have like this and like here and stuff.
Get your tears on your eyes and everything. Show the respect. Yeah. Well, fun.
So you should give it a try.
I might one of these days. I think, almost 40, but that won't stop me. So maybe for the 40th, maybe I'll do it if I actually decide on a design and where to put it. So.
Well, if you do, let me know and I'll go with, and I'll get one too.
Rock on.
Because I have 3 or 4 that are already designed that I just need to put together. So
just need to get the ink,
Yeah, this is not I don't think this is going to be anything that stops anytime soon.
How long was the longest one? How long did it take?
So that was my first music tattoo. That was middle hip, left side, and it took about 2 hours.
The Cronenberg, Lindsey Buckingham.
That was intense. Lindsey Buckingham was my 3rd or 4th. Okay. And it wasn't him. It wasn't his guitar. It wasn't any of it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later, though. Actually, I have it. It actually has to do with one of the albums. So if you happen to pick the album number today, we'll talk about it. So, no, but the one, I did like this big treble clef.
Okay.
And it had a old style key like piece at the bottom.
Okay.
And then this like kind of watercolor background. So it was pretty intense, but when he was doing the key and those little tiny curves and lines and stuff, that was probably the most painful a tattoo's ever been for me. But
fun. And you said that was about 2 hours for the whole shebang?
Yeah, but I mean the like really painful part was like a minute, if that.
Oh, okay. Rock on.
So
fun.
Yeah, Chad's really good.
The Chad. Well, kind of a fun segue since you mentioned music and you've got the Cronenberg Lindsey Buckingham tattoo. You were nominated on Facebook or selected to be a part of a cult.
It is an honor just to be nominated, folks, and thank you again for the honor.
Yes, and it's the album that inspired your life.
Yeah, musical taste, that something that had an impact. It's supposed to be 10 days. I don't follow the rules. I did 20, so Ryan's been asking me about him because I made him.
It happens. Last week I chose number 13, which was Elton John's, one of his albums, but it was an Elton John
One
live.
Night Only.
One Night Only. So today, number between 1 and 20. I didn't pre-select this last week, did I? In our chat?
You did not.
19.
19, okay.
For the Christmas version. The Mockery.
Oh, this is so funny. It's another live album. You're good at that. because there's quite a few of them, but these are probably the two of my most favorite live albums.
Okay.
So instead of One Night Only, this one's called Serious Hits Live, which is a Phil Collins album. Yes, because this is again like that's Elton John.
Oops.
Anyways.
What am I thinking?
That was pretty good.
No, Phil Collins did the music for
You'll Be
Tarzan.
In My Heart for Tarzan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Elton John too. So that album was released in the early 90s, and it was re-released. So it was November 5th, 1990.
Okay.
And there were a lot of albums that I just remember when I was driving around, like with my mom or dad in their cars, they always had something playing. And I really think that that's sort of what stemmed my musical interest.
I can see that.
But I think just from a young age, hearing them be able to actually like play it in concert, and this is the same thing that I said with Elton John, it's just fun to see and then hear it. And then I actually have because they didn't have a Blu-ray of it, but they had a DVD of the concert, and there was this giant carousel and all these like the horses and stuff, and then like the band and everything was there. And of course Phil Collins, you know what his famous instrument is that he plays?
Piano?
Drummer. He's a drummer. He doesn't drum anymore because he had a spine issue, but now his son, his youngest son, plays drums on his touring band. But anyway, and it's just one of those things like where you hear you hear Sussudio and Take Me Home and like a lot of those songs from that era, and it's kind of quintessential when you think of the cassette tape like era and all of those songs, and it's like from No Jacket Required and all these other like awesome albums. And again, seeing it live was really great. And
when did you see it live?
Well, I was gonna say I was talking about from the DVD.
Okay.
But I did actually see him live. It was October of 2019. That was one of the like last concerts I went to see before
chaos ensued. Gotcha.
They don't do concerts anymore. It's killing me a little bit. But thinking about it again, this was 29 years after that album basically came out, because it was right at the end of October and that album came out in November of 1990. And I loved it because, it was one of those things. I'm trying to see these people that I've never seen before, just before the opportunity is not there anymore, without being too like gruesome or whatever else, So I saw them in Phoenix in October 2019.
Good time of year for Phoenix.
Yeah, yes. And the name of the tour was called Still Not Dead Yet. So I was like,
I heard of such
probably
tour,
go see them. Yeah. If they're calling it that and making it that obvious, it's like I better go.
Waiting for it to get us down.
Seriously. But and Genesis actually was supposed to reunite this year, which I was like super excited about and wanted to, if I could, have the opportunity to go see that too. But of course, that's not happening now. So see.
Phil Collins live album. What was the album again? Or
it's called
Live Where?
It's called Serious Hits ... Live.
Serious Hits.
Yeah, because Serious Hits was their like greatest hits album at that point, basically.
Nice. So. Rock on.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
Seeing his son play was really cool too.
That's cool. The driving around with parents, that reminds me, because like my childhood, it was mostly gospel music,
right?
Christian artists and whatnot. But with I'd be with like the aunt and uncle. With the brothers, it was metal,
right?
And but I'd be with the aunt and uncles later on. It would be like classic rock. So that's kind of where I got introduced to that. So
nice.
Kind of cool how that was. I remember it like they would have it cranked up partially because they always had it cranked up and they probably couldn't hear it as well anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, I can't. This is a good song, but I can't. Jeebus Christ! I'm trying to tell you I have a crush on so and so, but I'm having to scream it now. Everyone in the car knows. So.
All right.
But that was the same family that when the cousin and I would mock singing Shania Twain, they kept playing the song back to back because they wanted to hear.
Was it Man, I Feel Like a Woman, or You Don't Impress Me Much? It's probably one of those two, I'm guessing.
Which one was it?
Or Still the One, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's probably
And
it's
it's
one
okay.
of the two. Maybe I could see you as being sarcastic towards both. I mean, I remember that memory, but it's going too far back to know the exact details.
It's fine. It's fine.
So yes, well, yay. Speaking of still music, you what is this thing that you sent me? Steve, I'll wait. Amblin. It looks like a documentary of some sort.
Yes. We're talking about the
KS.
what are we reading, what are we watching, what are we listening to, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if I've talked about it a bit. My father-in-law and I both are like huge music fans.
Mm-hmm.
And one night he randomly texted me the words Laurel Canyon. I was like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And so we went over because we do dinner with him periodically, and he's like, "Here, we should watch this," and put it on. And it's just on a 2-part like docuseries about like the mid to late 60s, 1960s, and that area of California called Laurel Canyon. But that's also like where like the Manson murders happened and all those things, like kind of in that era.
So it's cursed.
So it's the music out of there, like the mamas. Yeah.
The ley lines of the earth across there, creating bad energy that emanates with violence, but to a musical tone of C.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, it was like the Mamas and the Papas, Joni Mitchell, the Eagles, the Turtles, just a bunch of
Bears,
different
oh my.
bands. The Turtles, the Eagles, the Bears. Oh my. Yes, thank you. But it just kind of goes through the like history of what's going on in the world, but through a lot of these. Oh, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young was a part of it as well, because I was thinking about some of Bonnie Raitt also. But it just was fascinating to me. I mean, it's just about, an hour and 20 minutes for each of them. But it's on a channel called Epix, EPEIX. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it.
I have. I think I've seen it once or twice.
But so yeah, if you have a chance, you should watch it. It's really, really good because it's really neat around the idea of like musical history and how it played into like the real world and what that tiny, part of the world, that Laurel Canyon neighborhood community in California, and how much amazing artistry just came out of that particular space. So really, really good. And there's a lot of like updated interviews from a handful of years ago, that sort of thing, for when they were preparing this documentary. So like David Crosby was on it, Don Henley was on it, and it's really interesting just to hear about the kind of lore and the history behind it, but also hear those firsthand accounts from the artists that lived it, that were there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Very
really,
nice.
Really good. Mm-hmm.
Music documentaries are always fun, even if it's just about this is kind of how we put together this one album, or this is the documentary of this tour that we did. That's how I actually kind of got into Pearl Jam, because my cousin had a lot of those videos like, hey, we're gonna watch this live thing, but it has like the stories of the crew and whatnot. So it's a good way to get into music. But like hearing about like it just sort of originated in this area, so it's like
it's
really
a
zen of music that just emanates from the hills or something like that. Rock on.
Yeah, you were calling me a hippie before, and I'm like,
well,
that's not
true.
necessarily a bad thing. Watch Laurel Canyon.
It's all right, hippie.
Yeah, it made me think of there was a documentary, it's called The Show Must Go On, and it was kind of the Adam Lambert side of Queen and how he came to be in the band and everything, because there's so many haters out there that are like, you're nothing like Freddie Mercury, and he's like, well, yeah, no kidding. I'm not, first of all, not trying to be, and I'm just trying to do like right by his music and just give an entertaining performance for what people expect from Queen. And everyone's like, no, boo Adam Lambert. And it's like, he's insanely popular, and no, he's not Freddie Mercury, but he does a darn good job.
Nice.
Being adjacent to that.
I know how to entertain. Leave me alone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, rock on. Are you been watching anything else or reading anything?
Well, yeah, I wanted to touch on Crazy Delicious. I mentioned it a little bit in last week's show, but it's another cooking competition because, like I told you, shortstop round or whatever we're calling her, shortstop. She loves cooking shows and Food Network and that sort of thing, and so Crazy Delicious is a very like left of center kind of cooking show, and it's set up sort of in the same method. There's a host. It's Jade Adams. She was on Good Omens. Have you seen her? Have you seen that show?
Ghetto. No.
It's on Prime Video, I think, and it's
Oh,
actually done to the music of Queen. I'm pretty sure. So
you mean Bad Omens, or is it Bad?
I think it's good. I think it's Good Omens.
You're probably right. Yes, I have seen the first 3 episodes. David Tennant and
yes,
him.
Yep, and that other guy.
The other guy who's in everything as well.
It's okay. I'm like, I don't know. I just know that she's from that show. She's the hostess, and there's three cook. I mean, they're not really cooks, but they're have culinary skill. And
gonna IMDb so I know who, so I can see who you're talking about.
It's okay. You'll know. Yeah, you'll when you see her, you'll know her. But basically, they have to like elevate and reinvent these different ingredients. So we watched the first show, and the first round was bananas, but they all like turn them into like tacos and nacho, just like different things, or they just completely wasn't what a banana would be. And then the second round was pizza, where you had to have it be a pizza, but
made from a rhino.
Well, pizza ingredients, but like if it was round and on a plate, like they didn't want to see that. You know what I mean? So the guy who won the round actually turned it into a volcano and used I can't remember. I think he used charcoal powder in the dough, so it looked like the like kind of craggy rocks. And the tomato sauce was the lava, and like the filling inside was it was genius.
Do they eat it as well, or do they? How did the volcano pizza taste?
Well, they loved it, and he won that round.
Okay.
But anyways, and then like they had to completely reinvent in the third round, and what they had was barbecue. And the guy who ended up winning the whole show, he did a barbecued watermelon. It looked like basically like a ham, but it was like smoked, and so when they sliced it, it looked like prime rib, but it was actually watermelon, and they were like, "This is genius!" And
interesting.
So, yeah.
And who's the host again? Sorry.
Jade Adams.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong human.
You're like, David Tennant's the host? Nope, not that guy.
Martin Sheen?
No.
Michael Sheen, not Martin Sheen. Someone else.
Yeah. So while you're looking for that, the judges, she calls them the gods basically, and they're all dressed in white, and their judging table is up this like mountaintop, and they have to climb up the stairs to get their food to the gods to be able to try, and they're all dressed in white, and it's pretty funny. So it's
interesting.
It's Heston Blumenthal. He's like a European chef. It's pretty popular. And then there's Nicholas Ekstead and Carla Hall. You might know her from, she was on The Chew, and she does a lot of the judging on Food Network shows and like Top Chef and stuff like that. So
interesting.
Yeah. So they kind of go by like appearance and, like desirability for what the food is, and then actual taste, and then how they, follow the prompts. So
today I'm going to give you a hamburger, and it's going to be a representation of the book Charlotte's Web.
Exactly. I mean, like, exactly. We'll see how it goes like from here. But
that's some pig indeed.
There's just a smidge of ground pork in it too, if you could taste. And so I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, nope. I was like, there it was. Nope.
Sorry.
Okay, now I know. So the way that they get their ingredients, you shush. The way they get their ingredients is through, they call it the foraging forest. And it's basically like these little sections, and it looks like these giant trees and baskets, and they just like find these like fresh ingredients. It's really cute. So they have to
interesting.
Go to the forest to find their items. Yeah, it's great.
And what is that called again?
Crazy Delicious.
Crazy Delicious. Where are you watching it on?
Netflix.
Rock on.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Some fun cooking action. Speaking of Netflix.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I had mentioned, I believe it was last episode, the show that Krista and I had finished called Never Have I Ever.
Oh, yeah.
By Mindy
Kaling.
Thank you.
Kaling.
I believe I know she wrote it. I'm pretty sure she directed a few episodes, if not most of them as well, but very heavily involved. Great show.
I know, I need to watch it.
Check it out.
It's on my list.
It is. It's one of those that the wife was watching, and I kind of kept popping in, and I kind of see something, kind of smirk at it, and so she'd be like, "You should really watch an episode." And I did, and it's, young girl coming of age, young girl from India who's just lost her. Well, she's not from India. She was born here. Her parents from India. but lost her
Of
father.
Indian descent, yes.
Yes, thank you. And so that whole coming of age angst and stuff like that. But it's really fun. I laughed a lot. It's one of those, like, I can't relate to the main characters, but you know, in a way I can, because I was a small child at, you know, a teen at one time.
You were once a teenage girl.
Many times, many years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like Doctor Who, it just changes that every now and then. But the angsty side, but the kind of comments that the adults, it was just well written. Of like, she would say something, but the adults would come back with something really good, or just a funny scene, or how they shot it. It's just,
I really need to watch that.
Entertaining, and I believe they were like 30-minute-ish episodes, so
that's good.
Short and sweet. Highly recommend. Nice. Looking forward to season 2. I won't spoil it, but the narrator for it is great. So yeah, so many good things. So many good things.
That's good.
And while we're on Netflix, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. But The Old Guard with Charlize Theron.
I have not seen that.
I based off the trailer and kind of what the wife told me when she hasn't seen it, but it's called The Old Guard, and she and a few others, they are basically, I think, immortal soldiers, and they've been keeping the world in line in various forms or fashion, and something
like drama,
happened.
sort of action drama.
Yeah, and like action drama, superhero-ish.
Okay.
So it looks really good. Looks fun. I've heard good things about it. Charlize Theron kicks ass. So, yeah.
Cool. Right on. That sounds like fun.
That's kind of what I've been. Still working on The Office, because that's just been fun, dumb.
I mean, that's
Jim and Pam finally got together again. So you know.
Finally, I knew those kids were gonna get together.
Ugh, if only we'd seen it coming.
Yeah, Monica and Chandler just got engaged.
Really? Wow.
I couldn't believe it when it happened.
It was a shock.
Watching that episode for the 167th time.
I stalled on my Star Trek. I'm still in season 1. I think I'm around episode 6. Maybe I'll watch some of that later today.
Hold on. Have you been playing anything this week?
Not as much as I wanted to. I know it's a good trade-off. I have been doing more creative type stuff in a way, so that's been kind of cutting into video game stuff. But I did sit down last night. Yeah, just gotta type, scroll, and type. It's like Karate Kid, you know. Slide mouse to the left, slide mouse to the right, slide mouse. You know, it's just now the analogy is getting worse. Use thumb on the left stick.
Mouse on, mouse off.
Yeah. I don't know. Now you threw me off. I forgot what we were saying.
You said you sat down last. You said
gaming.
You sat
that's
down
right.
Last
Sorry.
Night and
did play a little bit of Apex Legends. Played some. Got to play some not Battlefield, Warzone, Call of Duty with the old not middle school friends that I've been hanging out with So it's always nice when the 3 amigos can get together and play.
Right on.
And so yeah, otherwise not much. I did look at Maneater. I was like, I kind of want to play it, but I want to go get some stuff done in Apex Legends.
I know. I want to see you. Yeah, you should record it again, because that was just fun to watch.
I'll level up a little bit, and we'll see where else the adventures of Little Bull Shark. There's some games coming out that are really interesting, but I'm trying to be good, because here's the secret, parents out there. New video games are going to come out usually around $60 all the time. Within about in about a year, they'll be half that, if not less. So I'm trying to be good on some games that I do want. I'm not buying them now and just waiting till they're on sale, because I've done that before and was like,
Yeah.
I love the game, but I could have saved $30 or more.
Yeah. The headless engineer kind of does it that way, because he'll have his handful of games he'll really want like day one, right?
Right.
But he has like Game Pass options through his Xbox One and things where he can like
Game Pass is fun like that too.
And then, I guess it's the rewards where you gain the points with Game Pass is where you get to do the, try the different games and play them for whatever amount of time. And so he's got to do a lot of those like through that. But he just purchased, I guess it was Friday, because I always forget. I guess new games come out Fridays. And he got the new Paper Mario for Switch, the Origami King, and he was playing yesterday, and I was kind of walking by and just smiling because it's super cute. I mean, you know how Mario is, and it's not exactly like platformer like they usually are. It's more, he described it as
it's more puzzly, isn't it?
Well, he described it as RPG light, basically.
Gotcha.
Because you're still Mario and you're still going around and punching things and trying to get stuff and whatever, and trying to save the princess, as you do. But you get into these little like battle arenas with like the Goombas and different things, but you're having like punch trees to get confetti out because it's all paper based, and like the coins, even though they look like the little gold coins are made out of cardboard, the graphics are so
That's
cute.
cool.
Like, so super fun. And you can tell because like at the beginning, I kind of just paid attention a little bit because Mario and Luigi were both like flat paper and kind of like really bright colors. But you can tell when it's something that's like bad or has gone wrong, but they're all origami. So they're like a little bit lighter colored, and you're trying to go through and help them out to like fix them and everything as far as what I could tell. So
I don't have a Switch, and one of these days I'd like to get one. I'm probably just going to wait till it's cheap because there's a few games on there. Like I've talked about Legend of Zelda. I got to play it once for a little bit. Really enjoyed it. But the other Mario game that's on Switch, I watched some gameplay of it. It's Super Mario, or I'm probably getting it butchered. Like,
no, it's okay.
But it had some really cool gameplay because it had the updated Switch graphics of Mario. But there was an element to it to where you would go into 2-dimensional Mario within this current game and have little elements.
I can't remember. I'll have to ask the headless engineer and figure out what that is because I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember they did. He and Shortstop did Yoshi's Crafted World.
Okay.
And that was amazing. That was so much fun.
I'm assuming it's a type of crafting game.
Well, it's kind of it's platformer, but you're playing as Yoshi and you're trying to gather things to kind of get through like the worlds and different stuff like that. And it's more kind of whimsical looking than Paper Mario is. Because it's like those lighter pastels, like really, really cute, but everything looks like it's like embroidery or yarn. So it's super cool.
That's cool aesthetic. Yeah. Nintendo's really good about doing that. Super Mario Odyssey is the game I'm talking about.
Oh, oops. I was like, I hope the headless engineer doesn't listen to this because he's going to be mad. I couldn't think of Super Mario Odyssey.
How dare you not know what Mario game it was?
That's okay. We have a lot of them. There's a lot of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, what Mario game? We've been around enough to be like, well, what system you?
What console? Yeah, exactly.
The NES, the SNES,
Game Boy, Super Game Boy,
N64, the Virtual Game Boy,
3DS.
That's not the Genesis. What about the Sega Master System?
Was it the Wii? Wait.
Yeah. Anyways. It just keeps growing and growing.
Okay. So about this week, I do have another question because I think I heard a rumor about you, and I just wanted to make sure it's correct.
Okay.
So I mentioned that I sent you a box of something, and I'm just curious to know when you did receive it, because I know you received it. Did you use it? Are you planning to use it? Was it a severed head? And what did you think?
We received the package. We weren't sure what was in it, so we left out in the middle of the road for a little bit, and then Morgan Freeman popped up along with Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt was just over there. What's in the box? What's in the box? And
dude, the next time he's at your house, call me.
And then Morgan was over there, like, Andy Dufresne realized what was inside the box, and I'm in the wrong movie.
At least take pictures. So.
Yeah. But I received. I think it was Monday.
Yeah, it was like right. It was right after.
Yeah,
the show
day after, because I texted you. I was like, "That's funny." But
of course.
Monday, and it was tea, like 7 different teas.
What?
I know. And the wife hasn't been feeling well. She's feeling much better, but early in the week wasn't feeling well. So the first tea that I actually brewed, I brewed for her, and that was the apple chamomile.
Harvest apple.
Harvest apple chamomile. It was very tasty. I had a sip of it, and she's like, she liked it. She said it reminded her of a cider.
Yes.
Of an apple cider. So that was quite very nice.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I brewed up about a few cups of it, of the cat's pajamas.
Oh, what did you think of that? It was tasty,
fun.
White chocolate with persimmon.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like creamsicle-y, but like tart. Yeah.
I was like, this would be a really good winter tea.
Yes, for sure.
But I had some leftovers, and so I was like, I'll make some tea cubes. And so I poured it into some tea trays, and I did some sun tea yesterday, just with some standard Lipton in a jar. I know. And I pointed out that they were tea cubes just so the wife wouldn't accidentally like, what are these? Why?
Yeah, some like random thing, right?
This ice looks like it was from the X-Files movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, brewed up some Lipton sun tea, and so the tea files. Mulder, I want to steep.
Anyways, but good. I'm glad you enjoyed them, and certainly if there's other ones you want to try,
Yeah, and we're gonna keep going through the pack. So we appreciate the tea. You hooked me up. I was actually low on loose leaf tea.
There you go.
I was out of loose leaf tea, so except for chai.
I mean, it's good. I'm glad you liked it. I'll have to send you our version of chai next time.
Yeah.
Can I talk about my tea?
Yeah. What is your tea today?
We're on the topic.
Yeah.
Terrific. Yikes. So I opted for a green tea this week, and I also went with an apple tea.
Mm-hmm.
It is called Hesperides Golden Delight. I think we talked about it a little bit before, but I hadn't really featured it.
Hesperides?
Hesperides Golden Delight, yes.
Okay.
And so it's a golden apple green tea with just a little bit of sweetness, and it's amazing. It's not hot wine like Ryan said before.
How would you contribute the sweetness? What is it, kind of a honey sweet, or is it an apple sweet, fruity sweet?
Yeah, because we have a really good green tea that's a pear honey green tea, and I'll probably feature that some other time. It's really, really good. But Hesperides is one of my, I love it for a good go-to, especially in the middle of the day, because it has that caffeine. So it kind of keeps you going, but it's not nearly as much as
because it's green tea level of caffeine. Okay.
It's not. The leaves aren't as oxidized as they are with black tea, and that's what the caffeine comes from, is the oxidation levels.
I'm looking up what Hesperide means.
I'm scared to know how you're spelling it and see what comes.
Well, it started off with his parody, and it brought up Weird Al.
Weird Al's Golden Delight. That's a completely different drink, I'm pretty sure. His parodies that came up with Al. I love you, Al.
Hesperide.
This is the part of the show where we try to
Rhapsody? That's not. Come on, Google, read my mind.
We've already shown how good Ryan is at math, so now we're going to go with spelling.
Hey, we established I'm okay at math, but simple problems can destroy the whole formula.
I'll bring Shortstop down. She'll be able to help you spell it.
Yes, bring short round around.
She's
Have we explained what we're talking about on this show?
Well, we talked about the nickname because I started. We have headless engineer, and that just came pretty naturally. That was pretty normal.
So Rizzo has a minion, and we don't want to call the minion by its true name. So I was like, I'm going to use the nickname from Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom. Thinking in my head, I knew what it was. I said Shortstop.
My response was, "That's perfect.
That's great." Because apparently
loves baseball.
Yeah,
loves baseball. When she's little, and she, is very I'm picturing the shortstops, running around.
Yeah, she's spry, and I was like, that works. The character
perfect.
in Indiana Jones, the Temple of June. Yeah, the Temples of June. After the May showers, be sure to visit the Temples of June this summer in the Indiana Jones adventure. No, but the Temples of Doom, it's short round. And so that's why I keep saying round every time she says shortstop.
Because I'm just going to stick with shortstop, and he says short round. Yeah. She's not particularly short, nor is she round, really. But, we get the idea, the little kind of
round.
Running around doing stuff, so, yeah.
I can't figure out how to spell Hesperides, so...
Still don't know how to spell Hesperides?
Hesperides, H-I-S? Is the H-E-S?
Yes, it's H-E-S.
Hesperide.
I'm gonna let you hang for a second before I spell it. Can I spell it for you?
You can spell it for me.
Hesperides. You're like, I was way off. I knew it started with an H, though.
Yeah.
Samsonite.
Samsonite. It was on the side of the box the whole time.
It was started with an S.
Well, fun. All right. Well, that was
Emmy Swanson. Yeah.
delicious
and
tea.
Next week we'll be visiting
This
Margaret's
is
Orchard.
the most diverse tea time we've had yet. Because
that was pretty amazing. So
caffeine has a different effect on everyone. Remember that, folks.
Yes. Next week we'll be visiting Margaret's Orchard.
Oh, yes, Margaret. How is Margaret?
She's great.
Are she and Harold still doing well?
She's great. I'm not sure about Harold and his orchard, but Margaret's Orchard is wonderful. And I'm excited to talk to you about her soon.
Okay.
So.
And this is T and not one of your Animal Crossings people, right?
Who, Margaret? There's probably somebody named Margaret, but no, okay. We're not talking about Margaret today. We're talking about Spike.
All right, well, let's talk about Spike. I'm assuming it's this rhino character that you sent me?
Yes, he's an orange rhino, and he's kind of plated in gold at different areas, like around his wrists and feet, and his horns are gold. And I just thought he was pretty cool, aesthetically. Cool. He looks neat. He's got like a big scar on his snout, kind of thing.
This is a character who grew up watching Mr. T.
Probably. He
needs the chains.
Yes, okay, so we've talked about the personality types, right? Just of the different ones, because there's 8 total, 4 for female characters, 4 for males. So he's a cranky.
We're speaking about Animal Crossings, by the way. I forget. We have a dual visual and non-visual element to the show.
Yeah, you'll see.
I want you all who are listening to imagine a small rhino with his hands out to the side. He has gold bands on his wrist. He has a black shirt that says gold.
Gold. Yeah.
He has golden horns. He has lining of gold around his ears and a scar upon his nose.
Or you can just look at the picture if it's on YouTube for whatever video.
If you're on YouTube, yes, but those who are using their minds, I created a scene for the theater for them.
Yeah, Ma Rizzo, we'll see. She listens on Anchor usually, but she actually watched on YouTube.
You're welcome, Ma Rizzo.
Yeah, she watched on YouTube last week and enjoyed it because she was just. We'll get back to Spike in a second, but every time you made some sort of like pun or joke or made fun of me, she was just like cracking up. I was like, thanks.
That's what I'm here for.
I know I'm an easy target, but she just, when
You're my only target. Likewise, I am yours.
I would attempt to make some sort of a joke, and she's like, and then with you, she'd be like, guffawing and like slapping her knee and stuff. I was like, thank you. Okay, that's good. We know which of your children you love more. Thanks.
That's because I was inspired by the great comedians of the 80s.
That's right.
And others.
So Spike. Yes. So he's a cranky, which kind of lends itself to like an older type of character, right? Okay. Like older personality, like grumpy old man style. And so when he was on the island, he kind of was a little bit kind of a jerk, to be perfectly honest, but they're fun just to have. And so you befriend him, and now I've made him soft, and I love it because I always go talk to him. I send him gifts. I, do favors for him. And now he's like, he and I are besties.
So if your island was Better Call Saul, this is your Mike.
Yes, exactly. I mean, like, exactly. Okay. His first, because they have a catchphrase when they start that they basically call you. And my name was Punk for a long time.
Punk.
Because this is what he called. And, kind of like the way he's like dressed with the little, the bracelets and the stuff and the spikes and whatever, it kind of lends it to it too. But now he calls me Nugget.
Oh, from Punk to Nugget. That's adorbs.
Yeah. So
that means he cares.
I need to tell you about this drama, though. It's just ridiculous how you get caught up into these things. It's sort of funny because
Tell me about your fake creatures.
You know what? That's rude. That's just rude. It's fun, okay?
What's happening?
So I told you about Tia, and I'll go into her.
Have they discovered the murderer yet?
I don't know.
That's the Animal Crossings I want to know about when it gets real.
I'm just saying, I do have a shovel and an axe in my arsenal.
ACSVU.
I see. I would watch that. I would watch the hell out of that. So Tia is the elephant that calls me Teacup, right? And she just moved in. I had a new neighbor move in. We'll talk about her some other time. But her name is Mayel. She's this like tiny duck. She's super cute. Anyways, and so when Tia moved in, Spike was at her house. Like every morning I would go in. He would be there. And I was like, oh, he's trying to like get with Tia. That's so cute. Just trying to like get to know her and all this stuff. And then he like a couple of days ago, I should send you the screenshot. Tia's sitting under a tree and she's just resting, and then Spike's like right behind her. He's kind of looks like he's like creeping on her. That made me laugh, so I screenshot it on my game. And then Mayel, the new duck, came in, and I saw them talking, and I thought, oh, I better make sure because Crankies and Snooties don't really get along too well, so I wanted to make sure everything was good. Bizzle, that's rude. And apparently, Drama, Spike sent her flowers. I know. Yes, exactly, same. And I was like, what are you doing? So Spike's kind of a player right now. I need to see how this is going to play out. So, but I love Spike. He's one of my besties, and it just makes me laugh because he was like crushing on Tia until the new duck meat, the new pate came along. So I just don't know what to do with him. But
as the island turns, these are the stories of Animal Crossings.
I know, the Aurora drama.
I'm McWillie. Starring Spike Stefano Demera Rizzo.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, so I just don't know what to do with him, but I'm enjoying it anyways. He's pretty cute.
Okay,
so
well, rock on.
Well, let me know if I need to talk about a boy or a girl next week.
You can decide.
Aw, all right.
Make it diverse. We'll switch it up. So, look at. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just depending upon what happens with the scenario this week, maybe we'll figure out somebody a little bit more naturally. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking at our show notes, you sent me worms.
Oh, this is the funniest story I've heard in a long time. Okay. So last week, I'm just going to touch on AC for just a moment because I told you about Olive, my cute little bear cub, right? So she reminds me of one of my good friends, like in actual life, in real life.
Oh, you have those?
Yes. That's rude.
Do you try to get rid of them when you don't like them anymore?
I take my net out and just slap him in the head.
I'm sorry, you're not being productive. You're going to have to leave the island.
Nope. Bye. Nope, I cannot.
So many people have had to leave Albuquerque because of you.
Anyway, that's right. So I have this. She's precious. She's an older lady that I work with, but we're pretty good friends. And she honestly is like the sweetest person I've ever met in my life. Just very like demure and very kind, super sweet. And she was telling me about just with COVID. She's a little older, so she kind of has to, extra quarantine and isn't out a lot and all of that. So, so she started a garden. Well, she was during quarantine, so it's been a good 4 months at this point. And she had tomatoes and eggplant and a couple of other plants that haven't really bloomed yet, but the tomatoes were really starting to go, and so was her eggplant. And this was like either Wednesday or Thursday. And so she's telling me the story, and she's like, yeah, and I was so excited because I was going to make, something with the tomatoes and eggplant. And I saw them, they looked really good that night. And the next morning I went out, and the tomato plants were stripped of everything except for the the stalks where they come up, but even the tomato leaves were really like wilty and gross, and the tomatoes were gone. And then she had the eggplants and pulled them, and it was just, I'll send you the picture, but it was just like the stem part and then like this little tiny stick underneath, like all just of the flesh.
Upon. Wow.
Yes, and she was so mad. I mean, she doesn't really get super mad, but she was very disappointed and frustrated.
She almost cursed.
Yeah. Anyways, she's not that kind of girl, Ryan. She's not that kind of.
She almost said, "Shoot."
Yes, exactly. And so she's thinking about trying to figure it out, and talked with one of her friends who also gardens, and she's like, "Oh, well, I think it's these worms, and it's the tomato hornworm."
Tomato hornworm.
Yeah. So you can show that picture too.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah. And I had to figure it out because I didn't want them to do anything more. So she says, so I grabbed my tongs, picked them off of the little, stalks where the tomatoes were, because they were still trying to forage for whatever else. So she's like, I grabbed them and I threw them on the ground and I doused them in rubbing alcohol. And I was like, whoa, okay there.
I just watched season 1 of Breaking Bad when they put the man in the acid.
Exactly.
I was going to use Tupperware, but it just went right through it into my Olive Garden.
So that was the after picture, if you can see, where they're looks like the wet ground and they're just all like flopped over in the ground.
I won't show. I'll show the other one where it looks like it's like
Oh,
I thought that was like oh look, these worms in this
it
wet
was
ground.
raining or something.
Now
right,
I know
exactly.
I'm looking at a murder scene.
It should have little like yellow tape around the outside for sure.
Little
But no,
chalk lines of worm.
She admitted to the crime though, so there's no law and order necessary. So, but she's like the most calm and like chill person I've ever met, and she's like, yeah.
They got my tomatoes.
I grabbed him with the tongs and I threw him on the ground and I doused him with rubbing alcohol, and I was like, dang girl, okay, I didn't know you had it in you, but.
And then I let them on fire with the flare and thermite.
She actually joked about that, and I said, well, then your tomato plants would be completely gone. You wouldn't even have them at all. So, may as well just keep what's there.
Yeah,
but I was like,
put in the alcohol directly on the ground, if that's the tomato plant ground. But, I mean,
so
I've overreacted to things before, like rattlesnakes and birds that became alive all of a sudden. But
you probably should, to be fair, for
the rattlesnakes, yes, but, I ran like a screeching banshee, and my stepdad walked over and just took care of it while standing in tall grass. But farmer power. The bird I was trying to like, are you okay? Then it's like, and I get skittish. But yeah, all right. Well,
you're all right. Okay.
That's the murder scene.
That was So just the moral of the story is don't double cross anybody you think is just like.
Do not take that lady's tomatoes.
No, not at all. On the contrary, like give her tomatoes and bring her eggplant. But I thought that was so cool because that was so completely out of right field for her. And I was like, oh, so proud. I was like, yeah, okay, you show those worms who's boss, man. I like that. So. And
then I sliced them and made them into a filet mignon.
I haven't, she also said when she dumped the alcohol, she goes, yeah. And then they started excreting green goo. And I was like, that's a little.
And I said to them, how do you like me now? How do you like me now?
Yeah, so I'm wearing green today in honor of the bugs.
In memory.
Yeah.
Of memory
one
of
out.
The fallen.
Pour a little rubbing alcohol out for one's homies, yeah.
The fallen tomato hornworm.
That was, it was just so.
We miss you.
Rest in peace, y'all. No, it just was great because, just not her, not at all. And she just kind of randomly was like telling me the story. And I'm like, where is this going? And she told me, and I was like, dang, okay, I'm glad I was sitting down. All right. Yeah. Good times.
This kind of leads to a really good segue, but I'm going to avoid it out of having a soul. So we're going to bounce to entertainment news. And we're going to kick it off lightly first.
Okay.
With the
I have to talk about.
With the Fletch. Fletch is, Chevy Chase 80s films. Fletch Lives, great films. They've been kicking around the word reboot for a while. And part of it was with they were thinking Fletch with Joel McHale was a rumor that was a few years ago.
That would have been genius, to be fair.
And now they're kicking around with a Fletch reboot with John Hamm in the works, which I think is fantastic, because I think John Hamm is great at being silly, even though you don't expect him to be silly. I've only seen one episode of Mad Men, but I knew that's what everyone knows of Mad Men. I know him more from the side bits where he keeps popping up, like in Bridesmaids. He's a regular in Kimmy Schmidt. He's a goofball.
He was on Parks and Rec too, actually.
Parks and Rec. He always just kind of plays that. He's just out of there all the time, and so I think he's a great actor. I was up for when they were, who could be Batman Bruce Wayne. I would be up for him as well. But with the Fletch reboot, that's interesting. One of the comments I saw is like, I've never read the Fletch books, but are they going to make the movie more like the books, which I don't know what that's like, or whatever they do. I think they should, if they acknowledge the original is awesome, but they don't have to make it, just reboot it. You can reboot
I know people are like, boo, reboot, but
it's not my Fletch.
Yeah, exactly. No, it wasn't my great grandpa's Fletch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's like the worst idea. Like if you don't want to see it, you don't have to be like a D about it. Just don't go see it.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it for everybody else. But it's, I don't think there's anything wrong because they're like original content and all these things. Like there's plenty of that out there. Like chill.
Yeah.
People want to try. Like let them try. Don't be mean about it. So.
A lot of stuff has been redone. It just has a different name on it sometimes. But I'd be curious if it gets launched. I'd be curious to see what it does. But I kind of at the same time, I'm like, I haven't seen Fletch for a while. I may have to pop that in.
Yeah, that'll be good. We might have to watch that too.
I keep thinking the Fletch theme, but it's actually the Beverly Hills Cop.
What Axel? Yeah. And who created that song? Don't look on Google.
Carpenter.
Harold Flatmeyer. One of the two. I don't see. This is. I don't know why I know these things. It's because it's an '80s song, is why. But
possibly nice.
Yeah, it is. So I used to use it as a music bed.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
When I did the '80s, we probably used it for our show too. But
we probably did.
Mm-hmm. So music real quick.
Go ahead.
Your Weezer concert was July 16th, 2016.
That was at the OKC Zoo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I told you I'd figure it out.
Panic at the Disco was the artist that opened for them. There was another artist beforehand. But which sounded great as well. I had heard a few of Panic at the Disco songs, seeing them live. I'm like, you guys are good.
Yeah.
And then seeing Weezer. So, yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about because you've never listened to the show or watched the show before, we were talked about that last episode, I believe, of concerts and whatnot.
Yeah, and I was talking about Setlist FM on how you can type in the band name and the city that they had played in and, like, give or take the year, and you could find out where it was, when it was, and what the set list was.
Fabulous.
Yes. Okay, so back to your entertainment news.
Again, bounce it back over to you because we had a few deaths.
I know.
Which were all, I mean, it might be because I'm getting closer to the age of 40 where like people are like, oh, that's young. And like these days, I'm like, if anyone's like, well, they're under 80, well, that's young. But fill us in on who we lost.
So
this is old news because this happened, most of this
was a week ago.
Monday or so.
After the last show. And I can't remember. I think it was Sunday night because on Monday I couldn't sleep. I had just like a really weird, like sometimes you just get like a weird feeling. I don't know. I'm just kind of intuitive like that sometimes. But I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't get settled. And so I was just messing around on my phone and I saw John Travolta, who's my favorite actor of all time. I love him. Like it's true. It's unhealthy. I don't have any tats of him yet. But anyways.
Need another Cronenberg John Travolta collage.
He'd posted that his wife Kelly Preston had passed away, and I was like, I was devastated because it's almost like losing like a family member, kind of. And I know it probably sounds silly, but I followed John since I was like shortstop's age, basically, and short round, and it just, because like no one knew she had cancer, very few people. It wasn't news. They didn't share it with anybody. It was just a private battle that they were working through. And it just kind of came out of nowhere and it sort of shell shocked me. So I was started crying and it was. And
she was, what was it, 57?
57. Yeah.
57.
I mean, that's young,
See, I didn't know that they had kind of kept it quiet just because I read some entertainment news about it a lot, but usually I try to as much as I can, I try to let the actors have their lives, which sounds weird, even though it's being reported everywhere. But when it's like, because I saw the same tweet you did because someone else retweeted it, but I was like, I didn't know that. One, that stinks. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But was a 2-year battle with breast cancer. Yeah. 57. That's so that stinks.
I mean, and the other thing, and I'm not sure if you knew this either, you probably heard this at some point, but when John and Kelly were in the Bahamas back, it was I think it was, let's see, it had to have been 2000 something, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
But their son Jet died. He had a seizure and died. So they lost their son at 16
Jeez.
out there. And so it's just like one of those things. And because she just seemed like such a beautiful person, and I'm not just saying that because I, like have loved John for that long, but she always did good jobs, like with her acting, and just seemed like a really kind person, and just like a beautiful soul. And it broke my heart because John seems that way too, just super kind and really gracious, and it makes me, just like devastating.
Death is never easy, no matter how you are, especially if you personally know the person. It's going to be really impactful on you.
Yeah.
And in your case, like, you just kind of relate to them because, like you said, you've just been a big fan of John Travolta your whole life. I mean, I remember when Johnny Cash passed away, I was like, I've never met the man, but man, I just kind of, it takes something. Yeah. When John Candy passed away, like John Candy and Robin Williams, those two slapped me in the face big time.
Yeah. That was like George Carlin for The Headless Engineer. He had a really hard time. George Carlin.
So even if we don't know them.
And Chester Benningfield or Bennington.
Just knocks you out. And then we had someone else.
Naya Rivera. Yeah. Naya Rivera, she played Santana on Glee, which is another thing that's kind of like crazy because they have this thing called the Glee curse. Because Corey Monteith died of a drug and alcohol overdose. And then Mark Saling died. He committed suicide after he was convicted on these, I'm not going to go into them, horrific charges, illegal stuff. And they were all like right in that same age range. And then Naya Rivera drowned in a lake in California. Yeah. What they said is it sounded like she was with her little boy on a pontoon in the middle of the lake, and some little current like picked them up, and they were out in the water, and she basically put him up on the boat, but she wasn't wearing her life jacket, and she didn't have enough energy to save herself.
Oh, that stinks.
So it was just like horrible. And then the third one was Grant Imahara.
Brain aneurysm.
Was that what it was?
That's what I read.
Okay, I hadn't heard what the cause was, but I figured he was only 49.
Yeah.
Like super young. Yeah, Naya I think was 33. And still, yeah, you've lived your life for a certain amount of time. It's like, when is it the right time, Right.
And the thing is, you never know, because brain aneurysm, it's
so arbitrary.
It's one of those, you're just done. Sometimes you can come out of it. Like I know someone who had a brain aneurysm, but it wasn't fatal. But still, it's just, you don't know it until it's too late. Yeah. And so it's horrible, but life will just stop us. So.
And it's like the rule of threes, man. And when Kelly passed, it's like you kind of hold your breath. It's like, okay, well, there's one. It's like, then what's going to happen? And then it was like, right, it's like one after the other. Because I think Grant died on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then that's like right when they found Naya's body too. It was like right in that same time frame. And it really sucked. Like, I don't like to talk about that stuff too much, but when Kelly passed, I just knew I had to.
Just got you good.
And I appreciate you letting me share, because it's still a little raw, and I just like can't imagine how the family is feeling, especially John.
Yeah.
And
so
his two kiddos, Ella and Ben. So
I don't think I agree with the rule of three anymore, just because I think the internet has destroyed the rule of three.
Okay. Well,
that's just one of those. Yeah. Ryan has a thought as it just popped up at the moment.
It's fine.
But I see where you're coming comes. Yeah, it always seemed it's like, here's one.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised. Yeah, I wasn't surprised when the other two came out pretty quick after that. So
it's the media that's designed us to be cursed, man.
I know.
So let's not wrap up on that, because
no, because we have to talk about your ladder first of all. And we need to talk about our food. We have plenty of other things to talk about.
Let's we'll do ladder than food, then we'll tease stuff for next week. So,
my co-host may be joining me. Come on, she's thinking about it. My little one, Daisy.
So the ladder thing that Rizzo's referring to, I posted on Facebook. Going up a ladder, perfectly fine. Coming down a ladder, near heart attack. I had to climb up onto my roof. I didn't have to, but I wanted to get things done.
What were you doing? Here she is.
And here's our roofing correspondent,
Daisy.
Fuzznuts Daisy.
Oh, no.
And there goes the tail. We just see like this light fur thing. But I had to crawl up in the roof because we had some hail damage and wind damage from a few around Father's Day. And so the person who's going to be doing the roof did send the information to the contractor. I mean, to the appraiser. But the appraiser said they didn't have it yet. So I was like, I'll just take pictures of it and set up. So I'm really good at climbing up ladders and everything. But I have this thing about when it comes back to dangling my feet off the ledge of the house and trying to make contact with the ground again or the ladder, I get very skittish. And so it was the missus was there assisting. We had 2 different ladders actually out. The one I was like, okay, this is plan B in case this one.
Purring like while you're telling the story.
Yeah, as you're just looking at this weird fur ball on your lap. Just pet it, it's natural.
She's rubbing up against the mic. So unprofessional.
I get some good bass in there.
So you had 2 ladders. The missus was helping.
She was helping. I ended up getting off the roof, but I was like, would you go bring me some better pants? Because I was wearing like your sports pants that are slick. And so I was sitting down and gradually sliding down. But
Famous last words.
Yeah, trying to hold
So were you pantsless on your roof or what?
Was not pantsless. I had the sports pants on, but I was sliding. So she went and bought me another pair of pants that I could actually grip like actual material. Yeah, so that I could sit on the ledge and get off the ladder. So, pulled over. No, there was no angle that I could not be seen. It's like, well, do I flash the east or the west?
I just turned to the side.
There's a school to the east, so I couldn't turn to the other side because I would fall off the roof.
Yeah.
So yeah, got up on the roof, had some issues getting down, but got found down all right. Just it's like, okay, I'm having anxiety right now. I don't know why. I've done this before.
Well, it's a height thing too, and with your slick pants.
I'm fine with height. Yeah. But like, the wife even said like, you were fine. We went zip lining. I forget where it's called, but it's in New Mexico. The cave dwellings that people lived in, and you can kind of climb up into there. Yeah. We climbed up one of their 150-foot ladder things there, and she's like, you were fine. I was like, yeah, I was freaking out coming down, but I also knew that if I fell, you were behind me, and that would not be good. So I kind of sucked it up.
Like crusher, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened? I mean, you obviously made it down.
I got down safely. I breathed, made a joke about it on the web, and had all the people like, climbing down from a ladder is the scariest thing ever. So
yeah, I asked if you broke or dislocated anything.
No, nothing.
To make sure you're okay.
Nothing broke. Yeah, I didn't fall off. I didn't roll off. So
tuck and roll, man, tuck and roll.
That's what I hear, but I want to practice it first. But
land on slick pants.
Yeah, the wife said, next time you're not allowed to go on the roof anymore until you figure out how to step off of one properly. So
thank you, Mrs. Ryan.
Yeah, she got a good laugh out of it. So that's my roof incident.
And kids, don't wear slick pants when you're doing extraneous activities on ladders. Wear proper clothing that's not going to be slippery. Even though everything else in the roof kind of grips you because it's granular, but Right. Yeah, exactly. Like the roof shingles and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like sandpaper.
Unless it's a scene from Jurassic Park where it's the tiles and they keep falling out, but that's different. And there were no raptors this time.
So I have a question about other outdoor, activities that you partook in. Mm-hmm. How did those ribs turn out?
They turned out really good.
Yeah. Was it beef ribs or what did you use?
I always do pork baby back ribs.
Okay.
That's kind of what I've learned to do in the oven. I have a grill now. So nice. I had them on the grill for about 4 hours total.
Okay.
Made my own smoking pouches with some hickory wood.
Yum.
I don't know how well the smoking did because I had marinated the meat for 3 days beforehand. Yeah. I like how you're just staring at your crotch from this angle. I know there's a cat there, but you're just like, and you're looking down as if you've never seen a cat as well.
No,
I'm only bringing this out for the audio side because I keep looking up and you're like, it's like, how long have you had this cat?
This is definitely a YouTube consumption show for sure.
But you can't even see. She's not even in the shot. It's literally you just staring down at your pants. If you have pants.
I was going to say, you can't see if I'm wearing pants or not. Maybe that's why I wasn't going to push the other one off the counter the last time.
Mm-hmm.
No, because you know how cats have whiskers to like feel around to like get their little bearings
their
on their
sensors.
side of their face.
Yeah.
So on the one side they're like super long, and on the other side they're like super short. I'm like, what did you do to your whisker?
They probably, well, like our cats, we'll find like a whiskers randomly. I try to put them back in their head, make them look like a unicorn.
But I mean, like the whiskers are there, but they're literally like
Tiny.
less than a centimeter long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ash has a few of those.
Oh my gosh.
But it's funny, just like looking up and seeing, you're like,
I'm sorry.
Is this a cat? I've had this cat for years, but is this a cat?
Yeah. I've had her it'll be 7 years in December if she makes it that long. Bless her heart.
That surprise on your face. All right, well, tell me about your food recipe of the week thing.
Well, I want to know more about your ribs. I'll stop staring at my crotch. Cat. Crotch.
Right in Rizzo's barbecue, our food is so fine and delicate, you'll be looking at your lap the whole time.
Some good stuff.
In fact, we'll give you a bed that goes all the way down to your knees. But the ribs are good. I had some good flavor on it. I think the next big thing I will try on as far as long cooking, the low and slow method, will be some brisket. Because my brother's been experimenting with doing a lot of different beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, and his brisket looked really good.
Is this the one that lives near me?
Yeah. No, the one that lives nearest me.
Oh, okay. So mine, it was from, I was telling you about the COVID cookbook that my best friend and I are kind of working through and putting together recipes, like, not really putting into a book, but just coming up with these fun things to have. And so I wanted to talk about egg roll in a bowl. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of it before?
I have not.
It's basically like the filling of an egg roll, but just like not wrapped in that, like a wonton wrapper.
Okay.
Or like a rice paper. And I just wanted to try. My stepmom actually had showed me. She's like, yeah, it's really easy. Give it a try. And so basically what you do, this might be something y'all would enjoy. I don't know if y'all like Asian food.
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah, you might like it then. So you can take like a pound of any kind of ground meat. We've used, I think we've done it 4 times, and I think we've used beef, turkey, chicken, and pork all the different times. So what? Like one each time.
Sorry, I was just I was picturing like the imaginary butcher that's like in the other side of your house. You just have all these different animals back there waiting, like,
why do you think
all
I keep the
right,
blinds?
pig, it's your turn.
Yeah, that's why the blinds are closed.
You're about to be the egg roll in the bowl meat.
That's right. Yeah.
Squeak.
Yep.
Squeak.
So,
okay, sorry.
Anyway, no, they're pre-processed when I purchased them from the grocery establishment. And then you just get like a large bag of like a coleslaw mix or like a shredded cabbage mix where you can make a coleslaw. Mm-hmm. And just brown the meat of choice in a pan, cook it through, get rid of most of the oil. You can keep a little bit of it, just kind of, the grease, fat or whatever, to keep it, to combine everything else. And then just dump the whole bag of the cabbage in. And just, you kind of need to sit there for a while and stir it so it wilts, but you don't want it to burn, of course. Okay. And then when you're done, spices throughout, whatever you want to use. And then the thing that I like the best is toasted sesame oil. Okay. And then I do soy sauce as well.
And that's what spices do you use, or are those the spices that you use?
No, those are like the kind of sauces or oils I use.
After effect. Okay.
I like I'm a big fan of a grocery chain we have 2 of here. Mm-hmm. It rhymes with Blader Schmoes.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Blader Schmoes?
Very popular in the Blade Runner films.
Yeah, Blader Schmoes. And their toasted sesame oil is amazing, and they have this one seasoning called 21 Seasoning Salute. Okay. And I use that in everything, just because it's really good. It has a little bit of kick, just a little bit of spice, and it just gives a really yummy flavor to anything.
Spice must flow.
I like it because it's, if I'm going to use onion powder or garlic salt or whatever it is, like it already has all of it.
Nice. So, okay. Just a big blend. That sounds delicious, actually.
It's basically like fridge to table in less than 15 minutes.
Rock on.
And you can make it with anything you want to. I did ground chicken the time before last, I think. Mm-hmm. And because Shortstop really likes it now. Because she likes veggies and like the ground, whatever, she likes that stuff. So we make it a lot because it's easy and cheap, relatively. And and I had some leftover broccoli from like an Italian meal like the night before. So just on a whim for the last 5 minutes, I put the broccoli in, kind of covered it over, let it warm up, and it was awesome. So it was like a chicken and broccoli bowl.
Nice.
And not to mention like super healthy, but
so meat, cabbage, shredded cabbage,
yeah.
or
I mean, you could even get a head of cabbage and shred it. Probably be the same amount basically.
Then
but...
cook. Shazam seasonings, then you top it off with your oils.
Make sure that meat's cooked through first. So that's about it, because you don't want like the sauces and juices from raw meat to get into the veggies and stuff. But,
True. Rock on.
I mean, super super simple, and actually, so Shortstop loves, like I told you, loves that meal, and she decided yesterday that she told the head engineer that she wanted to make her own version of egg roll in a bowl, and I'm thinking, oh, this ought to be good.
Gummy worms.
Well, exactly. Yeah, she says no. She said it was still of Asian persuasion, but she said, "Well, I want to do rice and the meat, but instead of cabbage, can I have ramen?" so it's like this pale colored carb bowl. I was like, gross. Okay.
If you're gonna do a marathon the next day, you'll be great.
Oh yeah, she's ready. Yeah, she'd be ready to go for sure. So yeah, her egg roll in a bowl is ramen, rice, and ground meat of some type. So it's like, that's so much for the healthy thing, but yeah,
it's pho minus the liquid.
You should have seen it. It just looked like it was like off-white bowl of slop, basically. But
see, I used to combine things as a kid too, like the shampoos in the shower. But the one thing that I did when I would go to my grandparents' house, I would combine drinks. So it'd be like High C and lemonade and the Sam's Choice apple sparkling water, white grape flavor. Combine that all together and like have like this really fruit punchy thing that was majority sugar but sparkling at the same time.
Excuse me. That was the cat sneezing.
I saw that. That's pretty good. That's some good Foley work.
And now I get to clean off the microphone. She's still sitting. She's still sitting in my lap. I feel kind of like Dr. Evil, but with like old sneezy cat. So not exactly Mr. Bigglesworth.
Mr. Snizzlesworth.
Yeah.
Sneezlesworth.
Yep.
So rock on.
Anyways.
Well, I think we should wrap up. We have other things we can talk about, but we can save those for next week.
You know what? But
we've
the
gone.
Way that
this was
processing...
like Tangent City today. But that's what
and
this.
We had fun, okay?
It's the show about everything, and you just staring at your crotch for about 5 minutes straight, just looking.
At least you know what to write in the show notes now.
What's in Rizzo's crotch? Find out Wednesday. What's in the box?
Ryan, and also what is in Rizzo's crotch? If you really want to find out, you should listen to this wonderful podcast.
That's going to give us some SEOs that I don't think we're going to really want. So.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's
we can't do any recommendations, anything like podcasts, something to listen to, even though all the fine podcasts here in the Musing with McWillie Network are available for all.
Woohoo!
But anything else you want to tell others to?
No, we're still doing Fake Doctors, Real Friends, but I haven't really ventured into that yet because I am just really into all the podcasts on the McWillie Network.
Yeah.
So.
One I'll mention. I'm never gonna tag any of these because that feels kind of cheap to tag someone else's podcast. Yeah, there's a tail on your face. Yes. It's nothing new. Just act natural.
Oh no.
But one I'm a big fan of, and one I posted a picture on my Facebook recently when we got to see him in October. But is Doug Loves Movies.
Yes.
With comedian Doug Benson. He's still doing, even though during the lockdown he has still been doing shows, but it's not been his usual live show in front of an audience. But it's him, other comedians. They talk about movies, and then there is a kind of a game aspect, a trivia type game that's movie based, and
nice.
Love the show. And like I said, he's still doing the shows via Zoom, still getting friends in, and they'll chat for a bit, then they'll start playing one of their movie based games. So
was when you and the missus went, Was it on Halloween, like night?
It was not on Halloween itself. It was, I think, a few days before Halloween, but it was during one of his Doug Loves Scary Movies shows, and he was doing those in 3 different cities. Denver was the closest one to us. And so it's like, yeah, come on, the show's Saturday, wear a movie-themed costume. So I was...
so they did say wear a costume.
Yeah, I was Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse, and the Missus was... Mrs. was Mary Poppins.
Yeah, she looked really good.
There were some... my favorite costume, I didn't see this till afterward, but a girl had dressed up as Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. The tutu, the hair, and had the football as well. So it was. I was like, yeah, I had the boots as well. That was my favorite one. But
I may need to come up with that outfit for myself for Halloween one year, because I would love that.
That'd be a pretty good one. So yeah, that's Douglas Movies. Really great podcast. But yeah,
I actually, speaking of Ace Ventura, because I have my Ray Finkel laces out football shirt, the old school NES thing. It was just dumb. I asked the headless engineer, it's a very odd question. Is my Ray Finkel shirt clean? It's like the things that happen in Casa de Riz. So it was not.
I used to have a Tally t-shirt that I became too big for, that the wife inherited it. So that was always kind of fun to scream out, "Where's your Tally shirt?" And don't forget your Tally shirt. So
don't forget your Tally.
Don't forget a towel. Anyway, we have gone beyond weird.
Mm-hmm. And beyond time, too.
The fact that the first 10 minutes were not on video because I forgot what to do.
Push that button.
Sundays. Yeah.
Oh, here, I pushed it. Oh, no, I didn't. Let me push it again. Oh, here it is. Oh, wait, that's not the right button.
That's what happens.
Okay.
So, yeah. I will jabber. Our next show will be slightly different. You won't be able to tell, other than the fact it's probably going to be dark out this window on my end, and on her end as well.
Yeah, this is east facing anyway, so the sun will be that way.
We've got some changes coming up, just because we have some travels coming up, so we're going to be recording the show a little bit earlier in the week. So
it's all my fault, folks. I'm so sorry.
That's not completely. One of those is sort of mine. But yeah, it might be tea time with rum or something. Who knows?
Well, Margaret, when we go to her orchard, she's not caffeinated, so we'll be fine.
Tell us about your stuff. So, yeah. This is Ryan and Rizzo signing out. Have a good day. Good night. Let me figure out the buttons to press, since I don't know how to push them to begin with.
Thanks, y'all. I'll see you later.
I remember when the Mac used to tell me what to do instead of control. All right. Awkward thumbs. Hey. I like to do the blah blah. McWillie.com